Hello, how's everyone doing? I did a video with Walter Block a few weeks ago, and he talked a little bit about animals and rights, and I guess I didn't really address it then, but I would like to address it now because I think Walter Block's view why animals don't have rights is little bit weak, and I'm going to address my own view for why animals don't have rights. Because we agree. Uh, our conclusion is the same. We both agree that animals don't have rights, but I think our analysis is different. So the analysis typically given by libertarians who don't believe that animals have rights is that they can't petition for their rights, and because they don't respect the rights of others. And the only people who have rights are those that petition for them and those who respect the rights of others. And typically the response is given, well, how about people who are in a coma? Or how about babies? Or how about people who are severely retarded? They can't petition for their rights, and the response typically is ironically a collectivistic one. Once it applies to one human being, it applies to all human beings, and therefore, since we know that one human being is able to petition for their rights, we subscribe that to the entire species, but as of now, there is no known animal which is able to petition for his right, and therefore they don't have them. And I think this response is very silly and kind of ridiculous, because how do you know that animals can't petition for their rights? You don't understand them. You don't speak their language. Maybe the way they say moo means that they're petitioning for their rights. Maybe the way they act when you're trying to kill it means it's their way of petitioning for their rights. When a baby cries, that means a certain thing, and through training you're able to figure it out. But maybe the flaw isn't so much that animals can't petition for their rights, but the fact that we don't understand them, right? I mean, if someone goes to talks with someone who doesn't speak the same language as him, it's kind of a silly response to say this person can't communicate. It's not a failure of communication, it's a failure of me understanding him. So maybe it is theoretically possible that animals can petition for their rights, but since human beings don't speak animal, we can't understand them. So maybe perhaps it's a failure on our end and not a failure on their end. And so I think this argument is kind of weak. Another argument, also a collectivistic one, is that animals don't respect the rights of other animals or of human beings. And if you don't respect the rights of others, then why should other people respect yours? Animals may attack other animals. They may attack other human beings. They may shit all over their property. So animals don't respect the rights of others. But of course, this is collectivistic. Other human beings, there are certain human beings that don't respect the rights of others. We don't say, therefore, no human beings have rights. An animal can be trained to go outside when it has to take a dump. There are certain animals that may defend their owner if someone tries to hurt them. So it's not true that all animals violate the rights of others. Some don't eat other animals, some are peaceful. In fact, I would argue that human beings are the most violent and the most disrespecting of other people's rights than any other animal on Earth. So I think that this claim that animals don't respect other people's rights should apply more to humans than it does to animals. Since human beings, if we're going to be collectivistic, respect people's rights the least. So, and how can I claim that animals have rights? Well, a right means, because we are talking about legal theory, not what you should do, but what is the punishment for breaking. So a right doesn't mean you shouldn't cheat on your spouse, or you shouldn't fart in an elevator. The question is, if you do engage in these behaviors, is the use of force justified to punish you for it, or in order to prevent you from continuing these actions? So if a person says a person has a right to food, the right to food means that the failure to have other people provide him food means his rights are being violated, and people who do not give him food when they are able to are therefore violating his rights, and therefore it's okay to use the strong arm of the law to combat it. Right? A right isn't what you should do. A right is what you must not do. So if someone says, I believe that eating animals is wrong, and I don't eat them, and I'm going to encourage other people not to, nothing wrong with that. I think that's pretty good. And that's nothing wrong with that. A person who says, I'm not going to eat meat because I believe killing animals is wrong, but if other people decide to eat meat, I don't support anyone doing anything violent to stop them, that person does not truly believe that animals have rights. If you're not willing to prevent people from violating the so-called rights of animals, that means that you don't respect animals' rights, or it means you think, while animals have rights, I think the rights of human beings are above those of animals, and therefore I'm not going to throw people who kill animals in jail, right? If animals truly have rights, all meat eaters should be charged with murder and should be punished as though they have murdered another human being. If animals have rights, all meat eaters violated the rights of animals and therefore should be punished for doing so. Unless you're prepared to make that statement, I don't think you truly believe animals have rights, or if you do believe animals have rights, you believe it's okay for human beings to violate the right of other animals and have them pay no penalty for doing so, which means the right is one you're not really willing to defend if being violated, right? I think it's perfectly okay to throw another person in jail who is a rapist or is a murderer, because I believe that human beings have rights, and if you violate the right of a human being, you should be punished for doing so. It isn't, I believe humans have rights, and I define that solely as, I'm going to respect other people's rights, but if you don't, fine. I'm not going to criticize you for doing so, and I'm not going to support the use of force for doing so. So if you truly believe animals have rights, all people who violate the rights of animals should be punished for doing so. Likewise, if you believe that animals have rights, you have to be against all animal testing, right? Because it's coercive, animals don't consent, and animal testing on certain products saves lives. You know, they do an experiment on an animal and they say, oh, this gives the animal cancer, so we're not going to release it on the market. Animal testing has saved a lot of lives of human beings, and because I believe that human beings have more rights than animals, I'm willing to so-called violate the rights of animals by having them be tested for a product to make sure it's safe before it's unleashed on human beings. And to not have these products which are available, which can save lives, means that you are putting the rights of animals above the rights of human beings, which I'm not willing to do. So in conclusion, my argument that animals don't have rights is because if animals have rights, you have to punish all human beings who have eaten or killed animals, and you cannot allow animals to be tested to make sure products are safe. Because you won't allow that for other human beings. You won't say it's okay to test products on an animal, on a human that doesn't consent. No, you're going to say if a human doesn't consent to being tested, you can't do it. And therefore, it's abusive. So if animals have rights, I would argue the only consistent criterion is that they have equal rights, like all humans do. And therefore, it's never okay to violate them, and violators should be punished. If you're not saying that, then you don't really believe animals have rights. You're simply saying that I would not hurt another animal. But that's like saying human beings don't have any rights. It's okay to murder them. I wouldn't throw anyone in jail for murdering them, but I choose not to do it. Whereas I would say, no, human beings do have rights, and I have no problem with people being thrown in jail who violate the rights of human beings, but I do have a problem with people being thrown in jail for eating meat or for hunting for fun. That's it. Thanks. Love to hear your thoughts.